Hello there, and welcome to Sleepy Science. Right now, somewhere underground, billions of living organisms are communicating through roots, chemicals, and microscopic networks, and most of them are vegetables. They don't have brains. They don't have nerves, but they can detect light, respond to danger, defend themselves, and even change their chemistry depending on who's around them. And here's the unsettling part. The vegetables we eat today are nothing like the ones that existed 1,000 years ago. Humans reshaped them slowly, deliberately, until they became something entirely new. So what are vegetables really? And how much do we actually understand about them? Let's begin. Human civilization did not begin with cities or kings. It began with food. When early humans stopped moving from place to place, it was because they learned that certain plants could be grown near their homes. Vegetables were among the first crops they depended on. When people discovered that seeds could be planted and harvested again, everything changed. Villages formed near rivers where soil was rich and easy to farm. Instead of hunting every day, families began storing grains, peas, and other simple vegetables. This steady food supply allowed populations to grow. More children survived. Communities became stable. Tools improved. Over time, farming vegetables created trade, social rules, and even early governments. Without edible plants, humans would have remained small wandering groups. It is surprising to realize that something as simple as growing peas or beans helped shape the world we live in today. The foundation of civilization was not gold or power. It was vegetables growing quietly in the soil. One of the earliest places where farming began was the Fertile Crescent, a region that includes parts of modern-day Mesopotamia. This area had rich soil because rivers flooded regularly and left behind nutrients. Archaeologists have found evidence that lentils and peas were cultivated there more than 10,000 years ago. These were not random wild plants anymore. People selected good seeds and planted them near their homes. Lentils were valuable because they grew quickly and stored well. Peas provided protein and were easy to cook. Imagine early farmers noticing which plants survived dry seasons and saving those seeds for the next year. That small decision slowly changed history. Farming in this region allowed permanent settlements to form. Writing, trade, and complex societies later developed there. But it all began with simple vegetables growing in predictable cycles. When you think about it, the roots of modern society can be traced back to those early lentil and pea fields. The vegetables we eat today look normal to us, but their wild ancestors were very different. Early carrots were thin and often purple or white. Wild cabbage looked more like a tough leafy weed. Ancient corn had small, hard kernels that were difficult to eat. Over time, humans chose plants that tasted better, grew larger, or were easier to harvest. Wild plants usually protected themselves with bitterness, tough skins, or small sizes. These traits helped them survive in nature, but humans preferred sweeter, softer, and larger vegetables. So generation after generation, farmers kept seeds from plants with those traits. Slowly, the appearance and taste changed. If you saw the original wild forms, you might not even recognize them as food. This shows how much influence humans have had on nature. Vegetables did not suddenly change. They were carefully shaped over centuries. The produce section in a store today is the result of thousands of years of quiet selection. Selective breeding is the simple but powerful process that reshaped vegetables over thousands of years. Early farmers did not understand genetics, but they understood results. If one plant produced larger leaves or sweeter roots, they saved its seeds. The next season, they planted those seeds again. This repeated choice slowly changed the plant population. Over many generations, small differences added up. Cabbage was transformed into broccoli, cauliflower, kale, and Brussels sprouts, all from the same original species. That change did not happen quickly. It required patience and observation. Farmers had to wait for each growing season before seeing results. Selective breeding also improved resistance to weather and pests. Plants that survived harsh conditions were more likely to be planted again. Today, modern plant breeding uses science and data, but the basic idea remains the same. The vegetables on your plate are living proof of long-term human decisions made carefully, season after season. Ancient farmers did not know about DNA or genes or laboratories, but they were still changing plants in powerful ways. Every time they saved seeds from a plant with better taste, bigger size, or stronger growth, they were changing its genetic future. This process is called selection. It may sound simple, but over many years it creates deep change. If a farmer kept choosing sweeter peas, the next generations would slowly become sweeter. If they chose larger roots, carrots would grow thicker over time. This is genetic modification, just done slowly and naturally. No machines were needed, only observation and patience. Early farmers were careful watchers. They noticed which plants survived drought, which resisted insects, and which stored well through winter. Each decision shaped the next harvest. What feels normal to us today is actually the result of thousands of small choices. Without realizing it, ancient people were editing plant traits season after season, building the vegetables we now depend on. The word vegetable sounds scientific, but it is not a strict biological term. In cooking, vegetables are usually the savory parts of plants, but in botany, things are classified differently. Botanists look at how a plant grows and how it produces seeds. If a plant develops from a flower and contains seeds, it is technically a fruit. That means tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, and even eggplants are fruits. This surprises many people. We think of fruit as sweet and vegetables as not sweet. But science does not care about taste. It looks at structure and function. Roots like carrots are true roots. Lettuce is a leaf. Broccoli is a cluster of flower buds. The kitchen and the laboratory use different systems. This difference shows how culture shapes language. What we call something depends on how we use it, not just what it is. The next time you eat a salad, you may actually be eating several fruits without realizing it. When tomatoes first arrived in Europe, people were suspicious. They belonged to the nightshade family, a group of plants that includes some toxic species. Europeans already knew that certain nightshade plants were poisonous, so when they saw bright red tomatoes, they felt unsure. Some even believed tomatoes could cause illness or death. In the 16th century, tomatoes were often grown as decorative plants instead of food. Wealthy families displayed them in gardens because they looked exotic and unusual. There was also confusion caused by lead plates used by the rich. Acid from tomatoes reacted with the lead, causing poisoning, which made tomatoes seem dangerous. Over time, people realized the fruit itself was not the problem. As trade increased and recipes spread, tomatoes slowly became accepted. Today they are central to many cuisines around the world. It is interesting how fear and misunderstanding once kept people away from a food that is now considered essential. Potatoes were first domesticated high in the Andes Mountains of South America. This region has cold nights, strong winds, and thin air. Yet potatoes adapted to survive there. Indigenous communities began cultivating them thousands of years ago. They learned how to grow different varieties suited to different altitudes. Some potatoes were small and bitter in their wild form. Early farmers selected ones that tasted better and stored well. Potatoes became a reliable food source because they grow underground, protected from many weather threats. In the Andes, People even developed a method to freeze-dry potatoes naturally using cold mountain temperatures. This allowed them to store food for long periods. When Europeans later brought potatoes back across the ocean, the crop spread quickly because it produced high yields in small spaces. Few people realized that this simple food, once grown in remote mountains, would later reshape diets across entire continents. High in the mountains of South America, indigenous communities did not grow just one type of potato. Over thousands of years, they developed more than 4,000 different varieties. Each type had its own color, size, taste, and ability to survive cold or dry weather. Some were deep purple inside. Others were yellow, red, or almost black. This diversity was not an accident. Farmers carefully observed which plants survived frost, which resisted pests, and which stored well for winter. Different villages often grew different types suited to their local soil and climate. This created a wide genetic range. If one variety failed, another could survive. That made food supplies more secure. It also showed deep agricultural knowledge. Long before modern science, these communities understood the value of diversity. Today, many farms grow only a few potato types. But in the Andes, the original center of domestication, variety was strength. That lesson still matters in modern agriculture. For most of human history, vegetables stayed close to where they were first grown. Mountains, oceans, and deserts limited movement. People ate what their land provided. But during major exploration periods, especially after the 15th century, plants began traveling across continents. Ships carried seeds and crops between the Americas, Europe, Africa, and Asia. This exchange changed global diets. Tomatoes, potatoes, corn, and chili peppers moved from the Americas to other parts of the world. In return, crops like onions, carrots, and wheat traveled in the opposite direction. This global transfer is often called the Columbian Exchange. It reshaped agriculture and daily meals everywhere. Foods that feel traditional today were once completely unknown in those regions. Imagine Italian cuisine without tomatoes, or Indian food without chili peppers. That was once reality. Exploration did not only move people and goods. It moved living plants that permanently changed cultures and eating habits across the planet. When potatoes reached Europe, they slowly became one of the most important crops. Unlike many grains, potatoes produced a large amount of food in a small area of land. They also grew well in poor soil and cooler climates. This meant more people could be fed using less space. As farmers adopted potatoes, food shortages decreased in many regions. Better nutrition helped children survive infancy and allowed families to grow. Over time, Europe's population increased significantly. In countries like Ireland, potatoes became a staple food for many households because they were reliable and filling. This change supported urban growth and industrial development, since fewer people were needed to farm large areas of land. However, reliance on a single crop also created risk, as later events showed. Still, the introduction of the potato had a powerful impact. A plant first grown in distant mountains became one of the main drivers of European population growth. Carrots originated in regions around modern-day Afghanistan. Early carrots were not bright orange like the ones we see today. Many were purple or white, and their roots were thinner and more woody. Farmers in Central Asia began selecting carrots that were less bitter and easier to eat. Over many generations, these selected traits became stronger. When carrots spread westward into the Middle East and Europe, further breeding continued. The orange carrot became popular in Europe during the 17th century. Some historians believe Dutch growers favored orange varieties as a symbol of national identity. Regardless of the reason, The orange type became dominant in many regions. What seems like a simple root vegetable has traveled far and changed greatly over time. The carrot's journey shows how geography, culture, and human preference shape the food we now consider ordinary and familiar. In ancient Egypt, onions were more than food. They were symbols of life and eternity. Egyptians noticed the onion's round shape and its many layers forming circles inside circles. To them, this represented endless life. Because of this belief, onions were placed in tombs with mummies. Archaeologists have even found onions in burial chambers, showing how important they were. Farmers grew onions along the Nile River, where the soil was rich after floods. Onions were easy to grow and could be stored for long periods. They were also part of daily meals for workers and families. The strong smell and taste may have added flavor to simple foods like bread. But beyond nutrition, onions had meaning. They appeared in art and religious rituals. It is interesting to think that a vegetable we casually slice today once held sacred value in one of the world's greatest ancient civilizations. Garlic was widely used in ancient Egypt, especially among workers who built the pyramids. Historical records suggest that garlic was given to laborers to support strength and endurance. Workers faced long hours under the hot sun, moving heavy stones. Garlic was believed to increase stamina and protect against illness. It has a strong smell and taste, which made it noticeable in meals. Even though ancient Egyptians did not understand vitamins or bacteria, they observed results. Garlic contains natural compounds that can support the immune system. That practical benefit likely helped maintain the health of large workforces. There are even stories of workers protesting when garlic rations were reduced. This shows how valued it was. What seems like a simple seasoning today was once considered important for physical performance. The idea that pyramid workers relied on garlic connects this everyday vegetable to one of history's greatest engineering achievements. Roman soldiers depended on reliable food during long military campaigns. Fresh produce was not always available when armies marched far from home. To solve this, Romans dried vegetables so they could be stored and transported easily. Drying removed moisture, which prevented spoilage. Soldiers carried items like dried onions, beans, and lentils. These foods were lightweight and could last for months. When needed, they were boiled in water to make soups or stews. This provided energy and basic nutrition. Roman military success was not only about weapons and strategy. It also depended on organized supply systems. Feeding thousands of soldiers required planning. Vegetables were part of that system. They added variety and nutrients to grain-based meals. It is easy to focus on battles and leaders in history, but behind every army was food preparation. Dried vegetables quietly supported one of the most powerful empires of the ancient world. In medieval Europe, cabbage became one of the most important vegetables for ordinary people. One reason was simple: it stores well. After harvest, whole cabbage heads could last for months in cool conditions. This made them useful during winter when fresh food was limited. Cabbage also grows in colder climates and does not require rich soil. Farmers could rely on it even in difficult seasons. It was often boiled into soups or stews, mixed with grains or small amounts of meat. In some regions, cabbage was fermented to make foods like sauerkraut, which extended its shelf life even more. Fermentation also preserved nutrients. For many families, cabbage was not just a side dish. It was a main source of food. Its reliability helped communities survive harsh winters and uncertain harvests. A simple leafy plant became a steady foundation in medieval kitchens across Europe. Before refrigerators existed, people had to find ways to store food for long periods, especially vegetables. Fresh vegetables spoil quickly, so preserving them was essential for survival. One common method was fermentation, which allowed vegetables to last for months. During fermentation, natural bacteria break down sugars in vegetables, creating acids that prevent harmful bacteria from growing. This process not only preserved food, but also added unique flavors and textures. People discovered this technique in different parts of the world, often by accident. For example, cabbage left in brine would turn sour but remain edible. Over time, these methods became traditional practices. Fermented vegetables also retained important nutrients, making them valuable during winter or long journeys. Without fermentation, many societies would have struggled to survive harsh seasons. It is fascinating to realize that a simple chemical process discovered long ago became a key tool in feeding millions of people. These preserved vegetables quietly shaped diets before modern technology existed. Sauerkraut, a fermented cabbage dish, was particularly important for sailors on long sea voyages. Sailors often suffered from scurvy, a disease caused by vitamin C deficiency. Fresh fruits and vegetables spoil too quickly at sea, but sauerkraut retains vitamin C even after months of storage. By eating it regularly, sailors were able to prevent scurvy and maintain their strength. The discovery of this benefit was life-saving, even if people did not fully understand the science. The long-term consumption of sauerkraut allowed explorers and trading ships to travel farther without losing crew members to disease. Ships carried barrels of fermented cabbage as a standard ration. This simple vegetable indirectly supported global exploration and trade. It is surprising that a humble cabbage, prepared in a specific way, could have such a huge impact on history. Today, we enjoy it for flavor, but historically, it was a critical survival food during long journeys at sea. Spinach, a leafy green vegetable, became popular in Europe after it was introduced from Persia. Originally, it was grown in the Middle East and Central Asia, where climates suited its growth. Traders and travelers brought seeds and knowledge of how to grow it to Europe during the Middle Ages. At first, spinach was considered exotic, grown mostly in gardens for the wealthy. Over time, people discovered that it grows quickly and produces many leaves, making it a reliable food source. Spinach is rich in iron, vitamins, and minerals, which helped improve nutrition in Europe. Cooks found it versatile, used in soups, stews, and simple sautés. Its popularity increased as more people learned how to cultivate it themselves. By the Renaissance, spinach had become a common vegetable in European diets. What started as an imported plant from Persia quietly became an essential part of daily meals across the continent, showing how one vegetable can travel and integrate into a new culture over centuries. Trade routes played a crucial role in spreading vegetable diversity across continents. Before ships and caravans carried goods over long distances, most people only ate local plants. But as merchants traveled, they brought seeds, spices, and vegetables to new regions. A tomato seed from the Americas could end up in Italy. A chili pepper from South America could reach India. Traders also shared knowledge about growing conditions, preparation methods, and uses in cooking. Over time, this exchange created new cuisines and agricultural practices. Vegetables once unknown in certain regions became staples in diets far from their origin. Trade routes connected continents in ways that silently changed what people ate, what they grew, and how they lived. Without this movement, European, Asian, and African diets would look very different today. It is easy to overlook how small seeds, carried quietly by travelers, reshaped entire cultures and nutrition. This shows that the global exchange of vegetables has been happening for centuries, quietly influencing history. Vegetables have an incredible ability that most people take for granted. They can make their own food through a process called photosynthesis. Sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide work together inside the leaves to create sugar, which the plant uses for energy and growth. This means vegetables do not rely on eating other organisms like animals do. Photosynthesis also produces oxygen as a byproduct, which humans and animals need to breathe. The green parts of plants, mainly leaves, are designed to capture sunlight efficiently. The process happens continuously during daylight, allowing the plant to grow roots, stems, and edible parts. Without photosynthesis, the plant would not survive, and neither would humans who depend on vegetables and other plants for nutrition. It is fascinating to realize that the vegetables on your plate are powered by sunlight, quietly converting energy in ways that sustain life. Every leaf is a small, natural food factory working without pause. Chlorophyll is the chemical that gives most vegetables their green color. It is found inside the cells of leaves and some stems. Chlorophyll plays a key role in photosynthesis, capturing sunlight and converting it into energy. The deep green of spinach, kale, and broccoli comes from high chlorophyll content. This green pigment is also important for protecting the plant from too much sunlight and helping it grow efficiently. When plants lose chlorophyll, leaves may turn yellow or brown. For humans, eating green vegetables provides nutrients like vitamins A, C, K, and minerals that support health. Chlorophyll itself has been studied for possible antioxidant and detox benefits. When you eat leafy greens, you are not only enjoying their color and flavor, but also taking in the result of millions of years of evolution that created efficient, energy-producing cells. Green vegetables are small miracles of biology, quietly converting sunlight into life-giving energy. Orange vegetables like carrots, sweet potatoes, and pumpkins contain beta-carotene. Beta-carotene is a pigment that gives them their bright color and is also a type of antioxidant. Inside the body, beta-carotene can be converted into vitamin A, which is essential for vision, immune function, and skin health. Plants produce beta-carotene to help capture sunlight and protect themselves from damage caused by light. The more vibrant the orange color, the higher the concentration of this pigment. Humans learn to select vegetables with stronger colors over time, making them more nutritious. Eating orange vegetables regularly helps prevent vitamin A deficiency and supports overall health. It is interesting to think that the color you see in a vegetable is not just visual beauty. It reflects real chemical power. Bright vegetables are evidence of plants' ability to protect themselves and, indirectly, help humans stay healthy every time we eat them. Purple vegetables like eggplant, purple cabbage, and purple carrots contain anthocyanins, which give them their deep violet color. Anthocyanins are a type of flavonoid, a natural compound that acts as an antioxidant. In plants, these pigments help protect against ultraviolet light, pests, and environmental stress. They also attract animals and insects that help with pollination and seed spreading. For humans, anthocyanins have been studied for potential health benefits, including reducing inflammation and supporting heart and brain health. The more intense the purple color, the higher the anthocyanin content. Eating these vegetables provides not just flavor and texture, but also compounds that interact with the body in subtle ways. It is fascinating that the colors we admire on a plate are signals of chemical processes that evolved for plant survival. Purple vegetables quietly combine beauty, defense, and health benefits in every bite. Cruciferous vegetables, such as broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts, contain special sulfur compounds that give them a strong and sometimes sharp smell. These compounds are part of the plant's natural defense system, protecting it from insects, bacteria, and other threats. When you cut, cook, or chew these vegetables, the sulfur compounds are released into the air, which is why they can smell so distinct. Despite the strong odor, these compounds are highly beneficial for human health. Studies show they can support detoxification in the liver and help reduce the risk of certain diseases. The smell might feel unpleasant at first, but it signals that the vegetable is full of natural chemicals that evolved over thousands of years to help the plant survive. Eating cruciferous vegetables gives humans a chance to benefit from these same compounds, combining flavor, nutrition, and the plant's protective chemistry in one simple bite. Onions are fascinating because they release chemicals that make humans cry, but this is not a coincidence. Inside onion cells, there are enzymes and sulfur compounds stored separately. When the onion is cut, the cells break and the enzymes mix with the sulfur compounds. This creates a gas called synpropanethyl oxide, which rises into the air and reaches our eyes. The gas irritates the eyes, triggering tears. For the plant, this works as a defense mechanism. The strong smell and the reaction it causes can discourage animals from eating the onion before it fully grows. Humans may find the tears annoying, but they are part of a natural evolutionary strategy. Understanding this mechanism shows how even simple vegetables have complex ways to protect themselves. Cutting an onion becomes more than cooking. It is witnessing a chemical reaction that has evolved to defend a plant quietly and efficiently over thousands of years. Plants, including vegetables, have surprising ways to communicate when they are stressed. While they do not have brains or nerves, they produce chemical signals that can travel to other parts of the plant or even to neighboring plants. When a vegetable is attacked by insects, for example, it releases chemicals into the air and soil. These signals can warn nearby plants to increase their defenses, producing bitter compounds or strengthening cell walls. Some signals even attract predators that feed on the insects attacking the plant. Stress signals can respond to drought, excessive heat, or physical damage. Observing this process shows that plants are not passive organisms. They react, adapt, and influence their surroundings using subtle chemical messaging. Every time we cut, bruise, or cook a vegetable, we are interacting with a living organism that has its own internal communication systems. Vegetables quietly manage survival, warning each other, and defending themselves in ways we are only beginning to understand. Some vegetables have the remarkable ability to regrow from scraps, giving them a second life after part of them has been used. For example, celery, lettuce, and green onions can regrow when their bases are placed in water or soil. This happens because the plant contains cells that can develop into new shoots or leaves. The ability to regrow helps the plant survive damage and ensures that its energy is efficiently used. Humans can take advantage of this by recycling kitchen scraps to grow fresh vegetables at home. This regrowth process demonstrates the resilience and adaptability of plants. It also shows that vegetables are not static objects. They continue life cycles even after we think they are finished. Regrowing scraps is a simple but fascinating way to witness the plant's natural ability to repair, extend life, and provide food multiple times, quietly reminding us of their hidden strength and intelligence. Seeds are tiny packages that contain the beginnings of a new plant, called an embryo. Inside each seed, the embryonic plant remains in a state of suspended animation, meaning it is alive but not actively growing until the conditions are right. Seeds also contain stored food, called endosperm, which provides energy to the young plant when it begins to grow. Moisture, warmth, and sometimes light trigger germination, waking the embryo from its dormant state. This ability allows seeds to survive harsh conditions for months or even years before sprouting. Farmers and gardeners rely on this property to plant crops at the best time for growth. Without seeds, the life cycle of vegetables would stop. Every pea, bean, or carrot seed carries the potential for an entire new plant, quietly waiting for the perfect moment. Seeds show that life can pause and resume, preserving the future of a species in a simple, natural package. Beneath the surface, soil is not just dirt. It is alive with microorganisms that help vegetables grow. Microbes, including bacteria and fungi, live around plant roots and form symbiotic relationships. They break down organic matter into nutrients that plants can absorb, such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Some microbes even produce growth-promoting chemicals. Vegetables provide these microbes with sugars and other substances from their roots, creating a mutually beneficial system. Without these microorganisms, plants would struggle to get enough nutrients, even if the soil looks fertile. Farmers often use compost or natural fertilizers to boost microbial activity, improving plant health and yield. Observing this underground world reveals that vegetables do not grow alone. They rely on an invisible network of life beneath the surface. The soil is alive, constantly working with plants to support growth. Every vegetable quietly depends on this hidden ecosystem to thrive and reach our plates. Roots do not grow randomly. They sense gravity and grow downward into the soil through a process called gravitropism. Specialized cells in the root tip detect the direction of gravity, guiding the root to grow toward it. This ensures the plant anchors itself securely and reaches water and nutrients deep in the soil. At the same time, roots can grow toward areas of higher moisture or avoid obstacles in the soil. This natural guidance system allows plants to survive even in challenging conditions. Farmers notice that well-developed roots support healthier stems, leaves, and edible parts above ground. Gravitropism is an invisible process, but it is critical for plant survival. Every root, from carrots to onions, follows this natural directional cue. Watching a seed develop roots is seeing a plant navigate the soil intelligently, finding resources and support it needs without any conscious thought. Mycorrhizal fungi form networks that connect vegetable roots underground. These fungi attach to or grow near roots and extend far into the soil, creating a web that increases the surface area for nutrient and water absorption. In return, the plant provides the fungi with sugars produced through photosynthesis. This partnership helps vegetables grow faster, resist stress, and survive in poor soil. Mycorrhizal networks can even connect multiple plants together, allowing them to share nutrients or chemical signals. This underground communication is invisible to the eye, but it is essential for healthy plant communities. Without these fungi, plants would struggle to access some essential minerals and water, reducing their growth and survival chances. The soil is not just a medium. It is a complex ecosystem where plants and fungi cooperate. Vegetables rely on these quiet networks, showing that growth above ground depends on intricate, unseen relationships below the surface. Plants have surprising ways of helping each other, and one of the most fascinating is through fungal networks. Mycorrhizal fungi connect the roots of different plants underground, forming a web that allows nutrients and water to move between them. If one plant is in richer soil, it can share excess nutrients with a neighbor in poorer soil. Some studies even suggest that these networks can transfer chemical signals, warning nearby plants of pests or disease. This quiet system helps plants survive challenging conditions and improves growth. It also means that vegetables in a garden or forest are not entirely independent. They cooperate without awareness, creating a hidden community below the surface. Humans may never see it, but it plays a critical role in plant health. The next time you eat a vegetable, remember that it may have quietly received support from other plants through an invisible network of fungi, sharing life underground in ways we are only beginning to understand. Carrots grow underground, and their main purpose is not just to anchor the plant, but to store energy. This energy is kept in a thick taproot, which is full of sugars and nutrients that the plant produces through photosynthesis in its leaves. The taproot allows the carrot to survive during harsh conditions, like winter, by storing food for regrowth in the next season. When we eat a carrot, we are consuming the stored energy that the plant carefully accumulated over weeks or months. Taproots are also essential for the plant to send out new shoots above ground. Farmers and gardeners select carrots with strong, healthy taproots to ensure better growth and taste. It is interesting to realize that a simple orange root is not just food. It is a living storage unit, a survival tool, and the heart of the plant's ability to continue life season after season. Potatoes, unlike carrots, are not true roots. They are actually modified stems, called tubers. Tubers grow underground, but they develop from the plant's stem nodes rather than the root itself. Each potato has eyes, which are buds capable of producing new shoots. When planted, these eyes sprout into new potato plants. Tubers store starch, which is a form of energy the plant can use for growth and reproduction. This is why potatoes can survive over months without sprouting until conditions are right. Understanding that potatoes are stems explains why they reproduce the way they do and why each one can become a new plant. When you cut a potato and plant a piece with an eye, it grows into a whole new plant. What seems like a simple vegetable is actually a clever survival strategy, storing energy and ensuring the species continues efficiently underground. Sweet potatoes, on the other hand, are true roots, unlike potatoes. They are enlarged storage roots, packed with sugars and nutrients. These roots store energy produced by the plant's leaves, allowing it to survive periods of low sunlight or poor growing conditions. Sweet potatoes can grow deep into the soil, which protects them from temperature extremes and some pests. When humans cultivate them, they harvest these energy-rich roots, which provide both food and nutrition. The fact that they are true roots and not modified stems affects how they grow, reproduce, and respond to soil conditions. Each sweet potato contains the energy the plant accumulated over weeks of photosynthesis, making it a natural food storage system. Eating a sweet potato is essentially consuming the plant's carefully stored energy, which it produced to survive. Understanding the difference between true roots and tubers helps explain why sweet potatoes and regular potatoes are treated differently in farming and cooking, even though they both grow underground. Garlic has a unique way of reproducing that is different from many other plants. Most garlic plants reproduce through cloning, using cloves instead of seeds. Each clove is essentially a small copy of the parent plant and contains all the genetic information needed to grow a new garlic bulb. When a clove is planted, it develops roots and shoots, eventually forming a full garlic bulb with multiple cloves. This method ensures that the new plant is identical to its parent, preserving traits like flavor, size, and strength. While sexual reproduction through seeds is possible, it is rare for garlic. Cloning allows farmers to maintain consistent quality and predictable crops year after year. Every garlic bulb we eat is part of this natural copying process, quietly producing exact replicas underground. This form of reproduction shows how some vegetables have evolved strategies to survive and thrive without relying on pollination or seeds, using a method that is both simple and highly effective. Some vegetables have the ability to detect light direction even while underground. Root tips and seedlings contain specialized cells that sense light, helping the plant orient itself as it grows. While most underground parts grow in darkness, the plant can detect light levels through the soil or emerging shoots. This guides stems to grow upward towards sunlight and leaves to expand efficiently. Even tiny sprouts beneath the soil can know where to grow, ensuring they reach the surface for photosynthesis. This detection is subtle but critical for survival. Without sensing light, plants might grow in the wrong direction, reducing their ability to capture energy and produce food. Observing this shows that vegetables are responsive and intelligent in their growth strategies. What seems like a passive organism is actually actively measuring the world around it, adjusting direction and shape in response to light, ensuring it thrives above and below the soil. Plants can also respond to touch in surprising ways. Certain vegetables, like beans or cucumbers, have sensitive cells that detect pressure or contact with other objects. When a plant touches something, it may change growth direction, wrap around a support, or strengthen its stems. This response is called thigmotropism. It allows climbing plants to grab trellises or avoid obstacles in the soil. Even leafy vegetables react subtly when brushed or pressed, sometimes producing defensive chemicals or adjusting cell growth. Touch is another form of communication and adaptation for plants. It helps them survive, climb, or protect themselves without a nervous system. Every interaction with the environment, whether a neighboring plant, insect, or human touch, triggers internal responses. Vegetables quietly sense their surroundings, reacting in ways that improve survival. This shows that even without a brain or nerves, plants actively engage with the world, adjusting their growth and defenses to suit the challenges around them. Growth in plants does not stop at night, but it slows down. During the day, photosynthesis provides energy for cells to divide and expand quickly. At night, without sunlight, energy production is reduced, so growth rates decline. However, plants still carry out important processes at night, such as respiration, nutrient transport, and minor cell expansion. Roots continue to absorb water and minerals, and some hormones regulate growth patterns. This means that vegetables are never completely inactive, even when it seems like nothing is happening. Gardeners may notice leaves or shoots growing slightly overnight, and roots continue their work in darkness. Nighttime growth ensures that plants can recover, store energy, and prepare for the next day's sunlight. Understanding this continuous but variable growth shows that vegetables operate on cycles, always working, always adjusting, quietly expanding, even when we are asleep, demonstrating a constant balance between rest and activity in the plant world. Lettuce is one of the fastest growing vegetables, able to go from seed to harvest in about 30 days under good conditions. Gardeners can plant seeds directly into soil or start them indoors, and within a month, the leaves are ready to eat. This rapid growth is possible because lettuce focuses energy on producing leaves rather than large roots or fruits. Quick growth makes it ideal for multiple harvests in a single season, especially in home gardens or commercial farms. Lettuce also prefers cooler weather, which allows leaves to develop tender textures and mild flavors. Because of its short growing cycle, it can be used in succession planting, providing fresh greens continuously. The speed at which lettuce grows highlights the efficiency of some vegetables, showing how life cycles can be adapted to suit human needs. Eating a crisp lettuce leaf is enjoying a plant that has completed a full life cycle in just 1 month, quietly demonstrating the power of fast, efficient growth. Asparagus is a vegetable with a very different growth strategy. Unlike lettuce, It is a perennial plant that can live and produce shoots for over 20 years. Once planted, asparagus requires patience, as the first few years focus on establishing strong roots rather than producing edible spears. After this period, the plant produces shoots each spring, which can be harvested for several weeks. The longevity of asparagus makes it valuable for gardeners and farmers because a single planting can provide food for decades. The roots store energy underground, supporting new growth each year and allowing the plant to survive harsh winters. Asparagus also requires careful maintenance, including proper soil preparation and protection from pests. Eating asparagus is enjoying a vegetable that represents long-term planning and resilience, one that quietly produces food season after season. Its life cycle shows that not all vegetables are fast-growing. Some are built for endurance, patience, and repeated rewards over many years. Bamboo is often thought of as a tree, but it is actually a type of grass, and its shoots are considered edible vegetables in many cultures. One of the most remarkable things about bamboo is its growth speed. Certain species can grow up to several feet in a single day under optimal conditions. This rapid growth is possible because bamboo cells elongate quickly and use stored energy efficiently. Young bamboo shoots are harvested for food before they harden into woody stems. They are used in soups, stir-fries, and other dishes across Asia. Bamboo's fast growth also makes it environmentally important, as it can be harvested sustainably and regenerates quickly without replanting. Its speed contrasts sharply with slow-growing vegetables like asparagus, showing the diversity of plant growth strategies. Eating bamboo shoots is experiencing a vegetable that grows with incredible energy and efficiency, transforming from tiny sprouts into substantial stems in just days. This demonstrates the incredible adaptability and variety of plant life. Broccoli is unique because the part we eat is not a stem or leaf, but actually a cluster of flower buds. These buds have not yet bloomed into flowers, and harvesting them before flowering provides the tender, edible part we recognize. Broccoli plants produce these tight clusters in the center, while leaves surround and support growth. The flower buds are rich in nutrients, including vitamin C and K, fiber, and antioxidants, making broccoli highly nutritious. If left unharvested, the buds would bloom into small yellow flowers, signaling the end of that growth cycle. Farmers and gardeners monitor broccoli carefully to pick it at the right time for taste and texture. This demonstrates that vegetables are more than simple food. They are carefully timed stages of plant development. Every floret on a broccoli head represents a potential flower that never opens, quietly showing the plant's strategy to attract pollinators while also providing humans with a nutritious harvest. Cauliflower is a fascinating vegetable because it did not always exist in its current form. It is actually a mutation of wild cabbage, selectively cultivated by humans over hundreds of years. Farmers noticed plants with denser, more compact flowering heads and chose to save seeds from those specimens. Over generations, this selection produced the cauliflower we eat today, with its white, tightly packed curds. The mutation affects how cells divide and grow in the flower clusters, creating a vegetable that looks completely different from its leafy ancestor. Cauliflower is an example of how humans have influenced plant evolution without modern technology. Every time we eat it, we are consuming the result of careful observation and selection over centuries. The story of cauliflower shows that vegetables are not static. They change, adapt, and sometimes surprise us with entirely new forms. It is a living testament to both nature's flexibility and human curiosity in shaping the food we rely on. Kale, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, and broccoli might seem very different, but they all come from the same species. Wild cabbage. Over thousands of years, humans selected plants for specific traits, creating distinct vegetables from the same genetic background. Cabbage was selected for large leaves, kale for tender, curled leaves, Brussels sprouts for small buds along the stem, and broccoli for clustered flower heads. Despite these differences in appearance and taste, they share the same roots, literally and genetically. This shows how selection and cultivation can produce incredible diversity from a single starting point. Gardeners, centuries ago, experimented with growth patterns, leaf shapes, and flowering timing, creating vegetables that now seem completely separate. Understanding this connection reminds us that many foods we consider unrelated are actually part of the same evolutionary story. Eating these vegetables is enjoying different expressions of the same species, shaped by human intervention and natural variation over millennia. The variety we see today is a product of careful observation and experimentation. Temperature plays an important role in determining the flavor of vegetables. Plants respond to their environment, and small changes in heat can alter the way sugars, acids, and other compounds develop in leaves, roots, and fruits. Cooler temperatures often make vegetables like carrots and lettuce taste sweeter and more tender, while high heat can sometimes make them bitter or woody. The timing of harvest also interacts with temperature to influence taste. This is why farmers often plan planting schedules to coincide with optimal weather for flavor. Seasonal shifts, microclimates, and even shade can create noticeable differences in the same type of vegetable. Temperature doesn't just affect taste, it can influence texture, color, and nutrient content. When we enjoy a crisp carrot or a sweet pea, part of what makes it delicious comes from the conditions it grew in. Flavor is a living interaction between plant biology and environment, quietly shaped by the climate surrounding it. Stress in vegetables can surprisingly improve their flavor. When plants experience challenges, such as limited water, cooler nights, or minor nutrient shortages, they often produce more sugars as a protective measure. These sugars act like antifreeze or energy reserves, helping the plant survive temporary hardship. As a result, vegetables like carrots, tomatoes, and leafy greens can taste sweeter after mild stress. Stress also triggers chemical changes that can improve texture, aroma, or even nutrient density. Farmers and gardeners sometimes use controlled stress intentionally to enhance quality. The process is subtle, and the plant balances survival with growth. Eating these vegetables is tasting a story of resilience. The plant responded to its environment and concentrated energy to survive. Every bite reflects adaptation, showing that vegetables are not passive. They react, adjust, and even reward us with more flavor under challenging conditions. Stress, in moderation, can turn ordinary vegetables into naturally sweeter, tastier food. Frost has a surprising effect on certain leafy greens, such as kale, spinach, and Brussels sprouts. When temperatures drop, the plant responds by converting stored starches into sugars. This process acts like a natural antifreeze, protecting the plant's cells from freezing damage. As a result, the greens taste sweeter and milder after a frost. Gardeners often wait until the first light frost to harvest certain crops because the flavor improves naturally. This change is subtle but noticeable when eating raw or cooked greens. Frosted leaves also tend to be more tender, making them easier to chew and digest. The process shows how vegetables respond dynamically to environmental stress, using chemical changes to survive. What seems like damage from cold is actually an invisible transformation inside the plant, turning it into a tastier, sweeter version. Every bite of frost-treated greens is a reflection of adaptation, chemistry, and resilience, quietly improving flavor while the plant protects itself. Vegetables have growth cycles that closely align with seasonal changes in light. As days get longer in spring and shorter in autumn, plants adjust their development, flowering, and leaf production to match the available sunlight. Longer days encourage faster growth, more leaves, and sometimes flowering, while shorter days can slow growth or trigger dormancy. These light-sensitive responses are controlled by hormones and specialized photoreceptor cells. Seasonal alignment ensures the plant uses energy efficiently and reproduces at the best time. Gardeners and farmers have long noticed that certain vegetables grow better in specific seasons because of this natural timing. Understanding how plants respond to day length allows for better crop planning and higher yields. Even underground vegetables like carrots and potatoes sense seasonal cues through energy changes in roots. Vegetables operate in a rhythm set by the sun, quietly following patterns that have evolved over thousands of years, adjusting growth cycles to thrive with changing light conditions. Tomatoes are one of the most familiar vegetables in cooking, but botanically they are fruits. This is because they develop from the flower of the tomato plant and contain seeds, which is the defining feature of fruits. People often call them vegetables because of their culinary use. They are savory, eaten in salads, sauces, and cooked dishes, unlike sweet fruits like apples or berries. Understanding this distinction shows that the line between fruits and vegetables is based on context, science versus kitchen habits. Botanically, tomatoes belong to the berry family, even though their flavor profile is not sweet. Every tomato contains seeds that can grow into new plants, demonstrating its reproductive function. The fruit classification highlights the plant's purpose in nature, producing seeds and continuing its life cycle. When we enjoy a slice of tomato on a sandwich or in a salad, we are eating a fruit that has been integrated into human diets as a vegetable, bridging science, culture, and cuisine in one simple bite. Cucumbers, like tomatoes, are also botanically fruits, even though they are usually treated as vegetables in cooking. They develop from the flower of the cucumber plant and contain seeds inside, fulfilling the biological definition of a fruit. Cucumbers are often eaten raw in salads, pickled, or used in sandwiches, which is why we think of them as vegetables. Their mild flavor and high water content make them refreshing and versatile in savory dishes. Understanding that cucumbers are fruits highlights how human habits influence how we categorize food. The seeds inside are capable of growing into new cucumber plants, which is the main purpose of fruits in nature. Every cucumber is a living reproductive structure designed to produce the next generation, even if we mostly enjoy it for hydration and crunch. This dual identity, fruit by biology, vegetable by culinary tradition, shows that what we eat carries both natural purpose and human interpretation, quietly blending science and culture in everyday food. Peppers, including bell peppers and chili peppers, are botanically classified as berries. Even though we often think of berries as small and sweet, botanically, a berry is any fruit that develops from a single flower with one ovary and contains seeds inside. Peppers meet these criteria, which is why scientists consider them berries. This classification surprises many people because peppers are savory, crunchy, and used in cooking like vegetables. They come in a variety of colors: green, red, yellow, and orange, depending on ripeness, and each color has slightly different flavor and nutrient content. The seeds inside are capable of growing new plants, fulfilling the biological purpose of a fruit. Eating a pepper is not just enjoying flavor or spice. It is consuming a structure designed for reproduction. Understanding this dual identity shows that classification by nature and culinary tradition can be very different. highlighting how vegetables and fruits often blur the lines between science and the kitchen. Corn is a unique case because it is botanically a grain but often treated as a vegetable in cooking. The kernels of corn are seeds, and when dried, they are considered cereal grains used for flour, meal, and popcorn. However, when harvested fresh and tender, corn is consumed as a vegetable in salads, soups, and side dishes. Corn is also versatile. Sweet corn is eaten directly, while field corn is used for animal feed, processed foods, or ethanol production. The plant itself is tall, with long leaves and tassels at the top, supporting pollination and kernel development. Corn demonstrates how human use influences how we classify plants. From a biological perspective, it is a seed of a grass, but in our kitchens, it feels like a vegetable. Every bite carries both scientific and cultural meaning, showing that what we eat is often shaped by both nature and human traditions, quietly blending classification and culinary practice. Mushrooms are a special case because they aren't plants at all. They belong to a separate kingdom called fungi. Unlike vegetables, mushrooms do not perform photosynthesis, meaning they cannot make their own food from sunlight. Instead, they absorb nutrients from organic matter, often decaying plants or soil. Mushrooms grow from underground structures called mycelium, which send up fruiting bodies that we recognize as edible mushrooms. They come in many shapes, sizes, and colors, and some species are cultivated while others grow wild. Mushrooms are high in protein, vitamins, and minerals, making them nutritious despite their different biology. Because they are not plants, mushrooms reproduce by spores, not seeds. They play an important role in ecosystems by breaking down organic material and recycling nutrients. Eating mushrooms is consuming something completely different from traditional vegetables, yet they are integrated into diets as if they were plants. This shows how humans adapt food sources, turning a fungus into a staple in kitchens around the world. Rhubarb is a curious vegetable because it is used like a fruit in cooking. Technically, the edible part of rhubarb is its long, thick stalk, while the leaves are toxic and never eaten. People use rhubarb to make pies, jams, and desserts, combining it with sugar to offset its natural tartness. Despite its sweet culinary role, rhubarb is a plant, not a fruit, making it a vegetable by botanical standards. It grows in cool climates and is perennial, coming back each year from the same roots. The stalks are high in fiber and contain some vitamins and minerals, but they are mostly valued for flavor. Rhubarb shows that human usage can redefine how we think about food. By treating a vegetable like a fruit, cooks created recipes and traditions that continue today. Every bite of rhubarb dessert represents this blend of plant biology and culinary creativity, turning tart stalks into sweet enjoyment while quietly reminding us of nature's adaptability. Zucchini is an interesting vegetable because it is actually an immature squash. When left to grow fully, zucchini can develop into a large summer squash, but when harvested young, it is tender, mild, and perfect for eating raw or cooked. The plant produces long, green fruits that grow quickly during warm seasons, making it a favorite for gardeners and chefs alike. Zucchini is versatile in the kitchen, used in stir-fries, grilled dishes, soups, and even baked goods. Its soft texture comes from the fact that the seeds inside have not fully developed, which is why it is tender compared to mature squash. Harvesting zucchini at the right size ensures the best flavor and texture. The plant continues producing throughout the season as long as fruits are picked regularly. Eating zucchini is enjoying a vegetable at an early stage of its life cycle, experiencing the tender, energetic form of a squash that is designed to eventually reproduce if left to mature. Eggplants, also called aubergines, are another surprising vegetable because botanically, They are berries. They grow from the flower of the plant and contain seeds inside, meeting the scientific definition of a fruit. Eggplants have a glossy, purple skin and spongy flesh, and they are used in cooking like a vegetable, often grilled, roasted, or baked. Despite their savory flavor, each eggplant contains many seeds that can grow into new plants, showing its primary role in reproduction. The berry classification surprises many because most people associate berries with small, sweet fruits like strawberries or blueberries. Eggplants are rich in fiber, antioxidants, and vitamins, making them nutritious as well as versatile. Understanding that eggplants are berries highlights how culinary traditions can differ from botanical definitions. Every dish made with eggplant is based on a fruit that has been reimagined in the kitchen, quietly blending biology and human creativity in a single, edible package. Okra is a vegetable that produces edible seed pods, which are the main part we eat. The pods grow from flowers and contain small, round seeds inside. They have a unique texture, slightly mucilaginous, which thickens soups and stews, making them popular in dishes like gumbo. The seeds inside are fully developed while the pods are still tender, giving the plant its reproductive advantage. Harvesting okra at the right time ensures tenderness, flavor, and the best culinary use. The plant is resilient, growing in warm climates and producing multiple pods throughout the season. Eating okra allows humans to enjoy both the pod and the seeds, which are rich in nutrients like fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants. Okra demonstrates that vegetables are not just leaves or roots. They can be pods designed for seed dispersal. Every bite of okra connects us to the plant's natural strategy for reproduction while providing a versatile, nutritious ingredient in our meals. Avocados are a fascinating case because, technically, they are large berries. The avocado fruit develops from a single flower with one ovary and contains a single large seed, which is why botanists classify it as a berry. Unlike small berries we usually think of, avocados are massive, with creamy flesh that humans enjoy for its flavor, texture, and nutritional benefits. They are rich in healthy fats, fiber, and vitamins, making them highly nutritious. The fruit grows on trees in warm climates and takes months to mature. Inside, the large seed is capable of producing a new avocado tree, fulfilling the biological purpose of a fruit. Culinary tradition, however, treats avocados as vegetables, using them in salads, spreads, and savory dishes. Eating an avocado means consuming a fruit designed for reproduction while enjoying its creamy, rich flesh. This dual identity highlights how nature's classifications and human use can differ, blending science, agriculture, and cuisine into a single, remarkable fruit. Fiber in vegetables plays a vital role in feeding the bacteria that live in our gut. These bacteria, also called the gut microbiome, break down fiber that humans cannot digest on their own. As they process fiber, they produce substances like short-chain fatty acids, which support digestion, immune function, and overall health. Eating a variety of vegetables ensures a diverse microbiome, which is associated with better metabolism and protection against certain diseases. Fiber also helps regulate bowel movements and prevent constipation, making the digestive system work smoothly. Beyond physical health, feeding gut bacteria indirectly supports other systems in the body, including nutrient absorption and chemical signaling. Every vegetable we eat contributes to this hidden ecosystem, quietly nourishing the trillions of microbes that live inside us. Understanding that fiber is more than roughage shows how vegetables act as fuel for life at both microscopic and systemic levels, creating a complex, interdependent relationship that begins the moment the food enters our digestive tract. Gut bacteria do more than just help digest food. They can influence mood and mental health through something called the gut-brain axis. The gut and brain are connected by nerves, hormones, and chemical signals, allowing changes in one to affect the other. Healthy gut bacteria produce compounds like serotonin precursors, which are important for regulating mood, sleep, and feelings of well-being. Eating fiber-rich vegetables feeds these bacteria, helping them thrive and produce beneficial chemicals. Conversely, poor diet or imbalanced gut microbiome can contribute to stress, irritability, and even anxiety. This connection highlights how the food we eat has an impact far beyond basic nutrition. Vegetables, by supporting gut bacteria, indirectly influence the brain and emotions. Every meal with leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, or root vegetables is helping maintain this subtle, ongoing conversation between the gut and brain, quietly shaping both digestive health and mental state at the same time. Magnesium is a mineral found abundantly in leafy greens, including spinach, kale, and Swiss chard, and it plays a crucial role in supporting muscle relaxation. When muscles contract, magnesium helps them release tension afterward, preventing cramps and stiffness. This mineral also supports nerve function, energy production, and bone health, making leafy greens not just a source of vitamins but an essential part of maintaining overall physical balance. Eating magnesium-rich vegetables helps the body calm itself after activity or stress, contributing to better sleep and less fatigue. It works in harmony with calcium and other minerals to maintain healthy muscle function. Because magnesium is naturally present in plants, consuming vegetables is an easy and effective way to support these processes without supplements. Every bite of leafy greens is more than taste or texture. It is providing essential minerals that relax muscles, support nervous system function, and help the body maintain harmony quietly and naturally. Potassium is another essential mineral found in vegetables like potatoes, spinach, tomatoes, and squash, and it plays a key role in regulating blood pressure. Potassium helps balance sodium levels in the body, ensuring that fluids are properly distributed in cells and blood vessels. This balance reduces strain on the heart and arteries, supporting cardiovascular health. Vegetables are one of the best natural sources of potassium, as they provide the mineral along with fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants. Regular consumption of potassium-rich vegetables can lower the risk of hypertension and related health problems. Beyond blood pressure, potassium supports proper muscle function, nerve signaling, and fluid balance throughout the body. Eating a variety of vegetables ensures a steady supply of this important mineral. Every vegetable serving is quietly contributing to a healthier circulatory system, helping maintain equilibrium, supporting heart health, and keeping the body functioning efficiently from the inside out, even without us noticing. Beets are more than a colorful root vegetable. They contain natural nitrates that can improve blood flow throughout the body. When we eat beets, the nitrates are converted into nitric oxide, a compound that relaxes and widens blood vessels. This process lowers blood pressure, improves circulation, and can enhance physical performance during exercise. Athletes often consume beet juice to boost endurance and oxygen delivery to muscles. The effect is subtle but significant, showing that vegetables can influence the body's internal systems in ways we may not notice immediately. Beets are also rich in antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals, supporting overall health while enhancing blood flow. Eating them raw, roasted, or juiced delivers these benefits, making a simple root vegetable a powerful ally for cardiovascular wellness. Every bite of beet is quietly improving circulation, helping the heart and muscles, and showing how natural compounds in plants can interact with human physiology in surprising and effective ways. Garlic is a remarkable vegetable because it contains a compound called allicin, which has strong antimicrobial properties. Allicin forms when garlic cloves are crushed or chopped, triggering a chemical reaction that helps the plant defend itself from bacteria, fungi, and pests. When consumed, allicin can support the human immune system, helping the body fight infections and maintain balance in the gut. Garlic also contains antioxidants that protect cells from damage, contributing to overall wellness. Cooking can reduce allicin content slightly, but even raw or lightly cooked garlic provides benefits. Cultures around the world have used garlic medicinally for centuries, not just for flavor, but for its natural health-promoting qualities. Eating garlic is therefore more than enhancing taste. It is tapping into the plant's natural defense mechanisms, which quietly support human health. Every clove carries chemical compounds that demonstrate how plants evolved to protect themselves, while also offering benefits to the creatures that consume them. Onions are another common vegetable packed with natural compounds that support health. They contain quercetin, a powerful antioxidant that helps reduce inflammation and protect cells from oxidative stress. Quercetin has been studied for its potential to support heart health, improve immune function, and even reduce allergy symptoms. When onions are chopped or cooked, their compounds interact to produce additional bioactive molecules that further enhance their benefits. Eating onions regularly provides both flavor and nutrition, contributing to long-term wellness. They are versatile, appearing in salads, soups, and cooked dishes worldwide. The antioxidant effects of quercetin in onions quietly support the body's defenses, helping to neutralize harmful molecules before they can cause damage. Every slice of onion carries this invisible protective power, showing that even familiar vegetables hold complex chemistry designed to enhance health. Onions are more than just a staple. They are a living example of how natural compounds in plants interact with human biology. Cruciferous vegetables, including broccoli, kale, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts, have compounds that support the body's detoxification pathways. These vegetables contain sulfur-based molecules, like glucosinolates, which activate enzymes that help the liver process and eliminate toxins. Eating cruciferous vegetables regularly enhances the body's natural ability to neutralize harmful chemicals and remove them efficiently. They are also high in fiber, vitamins, and minerals, which support digestive health and further assist in detoxification. The process happens quietly at a cellular level, helping the body maintain balance and defend against oxidative stress. Different preparation methods, such as steaming or lightly cooking, can preserve the beneficial compounds, allowing maximum effect. Consuming a variety of cruciferous vegetables ensures multiple pathways for detox support. Every meal with these vegetables strengthens the body's natural systems, showing that plants do more than provide calories. They interact with human biology to enhance resilience. Eating them is a gentle, ongoing way to support wellness and protection from environmental stressors. Leafy greens, like spinach, kale, and romaine, are rich in folate, a vital B vitamin that plays a key role in cell repair and growth. Folate is essential for producing and repairing DNA, the blueprint of all living cells, which makes it particularly important during periods of rapid growth, such as childhood, pregnancy, and tissue healing. Eating leafy greens regularly provides the body with a steady supply of folate, supporting healthy cell division and reducing the risk of certain deficiencies. These vegetables are also high in other vitamins, minerals, and fiber, making them nutrient-dense foods that enhance overall wellness. The process of absorbing folate from greens is subtle but critical. It quietly fuels the body's cellular repair mechanisms every time you eat a salad, sautéed greens, or a smoothie. This shows that vegetables are not just food. They are active contributors to the body's maintenance and growth, silently repairing and supporting life at the cellular level with every bite. Vegetables are naturally low in calorie density, which means they provide fewer calories for the amount of food you eat, making them excellent for feeling full without over-consuming energy. Most vegetables contain a lot of water and fiber, both of which increase volume but add very few calories. For example, a large plate of lettuce or cucumbers may be satisfying and filling, yet provide only a fraction of the calories found in denser foods like bread or cheese. This characteristic makes vegetables ideal for maintaining a healthy weight while still providing essential nutrients. Additionally, their low calorie density allows people to eat a variety of flavors and textures without worrying about consuming too much energy. Eating vegetables regularly contributes to satiety, energy balance, and long-term health, showing how their composition supports wellness naturally. Every bite is a combination of nourishment and gentle fullness, quietly promoting health without excess calories, making vegetables both satisfying and sustainable in daily diets. Chili peppers are a fiery vegetable with a long history that begins in the Americas. Archaeological evidence shows that indigenous peoples cultivated chili peppers thousands of years ago, selecting for varieties with varying levels of heat, color, and size. They used chili peppers not only for flavor, but also for preservation, medicine, and ritual purposes. The spicy compounds, known as capsaicinoids, give chili peppers their signature heat, which deters pests and has antimicrobial effects. These peppers were a staple in diets across Central and South America, incorporated into sauces, stews, and dried seasonings. Their cultivation spread throughout native cultures long before European contact, making chili peppers a central part of culinary and agricultural history in the Americas. Every bite of chili today connects us to this ancient agricultural tradition, showing how plants adapted to human preferences, while humans adapted to the plant's pungent, powerful flavors. After Christopher Columbus traveled to the Americas, chili peppers were brought to Europe, where they quickly spread across the continent and beyond. Europeans initially experimented with them in gardens and kitchens, discovering their ability to enhance flavors and preserve foods. Over time, chili peppers reached Africa, Asia, and the Middle East through trade routes, integrating into local cuisines and creating new dishes that remain popular today. The plant's adaptability allowed it to thrive in various climates, from temperate gardens to tropical fields. Chili peppers became culturally significant in many regions, influencing cooking techniques, agricultural practices, and even trade economies. Their spread demonstrates how exploration and human curiosity can take a native plant from one part of the world and embed it globally. Eating chili peppers today is not only enjoying flavor and spice, it is participating in a centuries-long journey of human movement, adaptation, and exchange, showing how vegetables can connect cultures across continents through taste and history. India adopted chili peppers so deeply that today they feel completely native to the cuisine, even though they originally came from the Americas. After chili peppers were introduced through trade in the 16th century, Indian farmers quickly adapted them to local soils and climates. The peppers became essential ingredients in curries, pickles, sauces, and spice blends, transforming flavors across the subcontinent. Different regions developed unique chili varieties, ranging from mild to extremely hot, reflecting local taste preferences and agricultural conditions. Over centuries, chili peppers became intertwined with Indian culture, not just as food but as symbols in rituals and medicine. The integration was so complete that many people assume chili is indigenous, yet its global journey tells a story of adaptation and adoption. Every bite of spicy Indian curry is a reflection of this history, showing how a foreign vegetable can become deeply rooted in culture, reshaping diets, agriculture, and traditions. The chili's journey demonstrates the power of plants to travel, transform, and influence societies worldwide. Tomatoes, surprisingly, were initially grown in Europe as ornamental plants rather than food. When first brought from the Americas in the 16th century, Europeans were cautious about eating them because they belonged to the nightshade family, which includes some toxic plants. Their bright red color and shiny skin made them attractive for gardens, and they were admired for beauty rather than flavor. Over time, curiosity and experimentation led to culinary use, but for decades, tomatoes were more decorative than edible. Gardeners displayed them in pots, alongside flowers, as symbols of novelty and status. Only gradually did people realize the tomato's potential in sauces, salads, and cooking, transforming it from a garden curiosity into a staple vegetable in Italian, Spanish, and Mediterranean cuisines. The tomato's story illustrates how cultural perceptions can delay the use of a plant for food, even when it is entirely safe and nutritious. Every ripe tomato today carries this history, quietly reminding us that humans sometimes take time to discover nature's edible treasures. The Irish became heavily dependent on one potato variety in the 18th and 19th centuries, which created both prosperity and vulnerability. Potatoes grew well in Ireland's soil and climate, producing abundant yields even for small farms. This allowed families to feed themselves and support larger populations. However, reliance on a single variety meant that if disease or pests affected the crop, there was no genetic diversity to protect against widespread failure. The Irish diet was largely centered on potatoes, with very few alternatives, making the population particularly susceptible to famine when the crop was compromised. This dependence shows how agricultural efficiency can also create risks. While potatoes provided nourishment and security for years, the lack of variety set the stage for disaster. Understanding this history highlights the delicate balance between food abundance and resilience, demonstrating that even a reliable vegetable can become dangerous if over-relied upon. Every potato consumed during that period represents both sustenance and the fragility of monoculture. The Irish potato famine in the mid-19th century reshaped migration patterns and had lasting social impacts. When the potato crop failed due to a blight, millions faced starvation and disease because the population relied almost entirely on this single variety. Families were forced to leave Ireland in search of food and safety, leading to a mass exodus across the Atlantic to the United States, Canada, and other countries. Entire communities were uprooted, and the famine altered demographics, politics, and culture for generations. The disaster highlighted the risks of dependence on one crop and the importance of agricultural diversity. It also showed how a single vegetable, in this case the potato, could influence global population movements and human history. Today, every potato harvested worldwide serves as a reminder of this story, quietly connecting food to survival, resilience, and the migration of people seeking a better life, showing the profound impact of vegetables on society. Asian cuisines have evolved around leafy greens for centuries, making them a central part of meals across China, Japan, Korea, and Southeast Asia. Vegetables like bok choy, Napa cabbage, spinach, and water spinach are used in stir-fries, soups, dumplings, and pickles, providing nutrition, texture, and flavor to dishes. The emphasis on leafy greens reflects both agricultural availability and cultural preferences for fresh, seasonal produce. These vegetables are often cooked lightly or fermented, preserving nutrients and enhancing taste. Leafy greens are also symbolic in some cultures, representing health, prosperity, and vitality. Their rapid growth, adaptability, and nutrient density make them ideal staples in densely populated regions, supporting both daily meals and larger communal traditions. Eating these vegetables is experiencing centuries of culinary history, where plants were carefully selected, prepared, and celebrated. The integration of leafy greens shows how vegetables shape not only nutrition but culture, rituals, and cuisine, quietly sustaining millions of people while influencing the flavors and health practices that define Asian cooking today. Mediterranean diets are heavily centered on vegetables, forming the backbone of meals across countries like Italy, Greece, and Spain. Fresh vegetables like tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, eggplants, and leafy greens are combined with olive oil, legumes, and grains to create dishes rich in flavor and nutrition. Vegetables are eaten raw, roasted, grilled, or stewed, making them versatile and satisfying. The Mediterranean climate allows for abundant vegetable production, and cultural habits encourage daily consumption. This plant-based focus contributes to longevity, heart health, and overall wellness, as research shows populations following Mediterranean diets have lower rates of chronic disease. Vegetables provide fiber, antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals, while the cooking methods preserve these nutrients. Meals are often colorful, aromatic, and balanced, reflecting both health and enjoyment. Eating Mediterranean-style vegetables is participating in a lifestyle where plants define the structure, flavor, and nutrition of daily life. Every meal demonstrates how vegetables can shape entire cuisines, health outcomes, and cultural practices, quietly connecting people to both land and tradition. Fermentation traditions vary widely across cultures, showcasing vegetables in ways that extend shelf life, enhance flavor, and improve nutrition. In Korea, cabbage is transformed into kimchi, combining salt, chili, and garlic to create a tangy, probiotic-rich dish. In Germany, cabbage becomes sauerkraut, fermented slowly to preserve nutrients and add flavor. Japan ferments daikon and other vegetables with rice bran or miso, while India uses mango, carrot, or lime for pickling. Fermentation allows vegetables to store well, especially before refrigeration, and adds beneficial bacteria that support gut health. The process involves microorganisms breaking down sugars in vegetables, producing acids, alcohol, and unique flavors. Every culture developed techniques suited to local climate, ingredients, and tastes, creating distinct culinary traditions. Eating fermented vegetables is not just consuming food, it is participating in a centuries-old dialogue between humans, plants, and microbes. Each bite reflects preservation, creativity, and health, showing how vegetables can be transformed into living, flavorful foods that nourish both body and culture. Urban farming is reviving ancient growing methods in modern cities, reconnecting people with the origins of vegetable cultivation. Rooftops, balconies, community gardens, and vertical farms are now used to grow leafy greens, herbs, tomatoes, and other vegetables, often using techniques inspired by traditional agriculture. Raised beds, container gardening, and hydroponics mimic soil fertility, irrigation, and nutrient cycling, allowing vegetables to thrive in limited spaces. Urban farmers focus on seasonality, soil health, and plant diversity, echoing practices from centuries ago when humans relied directly on local vegetable production. This movement improves access to fresh, nutrient-rich vegetables in cities, reduces food transport, and fosters community engagement. People who grow their own vegetables learn how plants respond to water, light, and care, creating a deeper appreciation for their food. Every harvested leaf or fruit is a reminder of the long history of vegetable cultivation, showing that even in modern urban environments, ancient growing wisdom continues to shape our relationship with plants, nutrition, and sustainable living. Hydroponics is a modern method that grows vegetables without traditional soil, using water, nutrients, and controlled environments instead. In hydroponic systems, plants are supported in substrates like coconut fiber or rock wool, while nutrient-rich water flows around the roots, providing everything needed for growth. This technique allows vegetables such as lettuce, spinach, tomatoes, and herbs to grow faster, produce higher yields, and use less space and water compared to conventional soil farming. Hydroponics also reduces pests and soil-borne diseases, making it more efficient and sustainable. Because it can be set up indoors or in urban areas, people can grow fresh vegetables year-round, regardless of climate or season. Every leaf, fruit, or stalk in a hydroponic system represents careful balance of light, nutrients, and water, showing how technology can replicate and even enhance natural growing conditions. Eating hydroponically grown vegetables is enjoying food that is cultivated with precision, efficiency, and sustainability, quietly merging innovation with nature's fundamental processes. Vertical farming takes plant growth even further by stacking multiple layers of vegetables indoors and using LED lighting to simulate sunlight. These farms use controlled temperature, humidity, and light cycles to optimize growth, allowing vegetables to thrive in spaces where traditional farming is impossible. Leafy greens, herbs, and small fruiting plants are commonly grown using this method, producing consistent yields throughout the year. The use of LED lighting enables farmers to adjust light intensity and spectrum, encouraging faster photosynthesis, stronger roots, and higher nutrient content in vegetables. Vertical farming also reduces water usage by recycling nutrient solutions and eliminates the need for pesticides because it is indoors. This approach is particularly valuable in urban areas, where fresh vegetables can be grown close to consumers, reducing transport and spoilage. Every plant in a vertical farm reflects precise environmental management, showing how human innovation can create sustainable, high-quality vegetables. Eating these vegetables means enjoying a product of both science and nature working in harmony. Genetic research has opened new possibilities for improving vegetable resilience, particularly in developing drought-resistant varieties. Scientists study plant genes responsible for water use, root development, and stress tolerance, allowing breeders to select or engineer vegetables that survive in dry or unpredictable climates. Crops like tomatoes, lettuce, and beans are being optimized to maintain growth, yield, and nutrient content even when water is limited. This research is critical in a world facing climate change, water shortages, and growing populations. Drought-resistant vegetables ensure food security and reduce the need for intensive irrigation. Importantly, these vegetables still retain their flavor, nutritional value, and culinary versatility, so they remain practical for everyday meals. Every seed or plant resulting from genetic research carries the potential to thrive under challenging conditions, quietly demonstrating the intersection of science and agriculture. Eating these vegetables is participating in a system designed to sustain both nutrition and the environment, highlighting how innovation can protect our food supply for future generations. Heirloom vegetable varieties preserve biodiversity by maintaining traditional seeds that have been cultivated over generations. Unlike commercially bred hybrid crops, heirlooms are open-pollinated, meaning seeds can be saved and replanted without losing unique traits. These vegetables often have distinct flavors, colors, and shapes that reflect the local climate, culture, and farming practices where they were developed. Growing heirloom vegetables supports genetic diversity, which is essential for resilience against pests, diseases, and changing environmental conditions. Many heirlooms are rare, representing centuries of human selection and adaptation. Gardeners and farmers who cultivate these varieties contribute to the preservation of agricultural heritage, ensuring that unique vegetables are not lost to industrial monoculture. Every bite of an heirloom tomato, carrot, or squash connects us to generations of cultivation, flavor, and tradition. By eating heirloom vegetables, we support biodiversity, celebrate cultural history, and maintain a living archive of nature's variety, quietly protecting the genetic richness that sustains agriculture and human nutrition for the future. Seed banks play a critical role in preserving vegetable genetics on a global scale. These facilities store seeds from thousands of plant species, including rare, heirloom, and wild varieties, safeguarding them against loss from natural disasters, disease, or human activity. Each seed carries the genetic blueprint for future generations, allowing scientists and farmers to restore crops if needed. Seed banks also support research, helping breeders develop vegetables with improved nutrition, resilience, or taste. The stored seeds remain viable for years under controlled conditions, often kept cold and dry to maintain longevity. By conserving this genetic diversity, seed banks ensure that humanity has access to a wide range of vegetables for food security, adaptation, and cultivation in changing environments. Every seed in a bank represents potential, future harvests, experiments, and meals, quietly maintaining the planet's vegetable heritage. Eating vegetables today is connected to this invisible network of preservation, linking our plates to global efforts in sustaining plant life and human nutrition. The Svalbard Global Seed Vault, located in Norway, is one of the most famous facilities dedicated to protecting crop diversity. Built deep inside a mountain, it stores millions of seeds from around the world, including vegetables, grains, and legumes. The vault acts as a backup for other seed banks, ensuring that even if regional collections are lost due to war, climate disasters, or accidents, the seeds remain safe. The facility maintains extremely cold temperatures to preserve seed viability for decades or even centuries. By storing genetic material from so many plants, the Svalbard Seed Vault safeguards the building blocks of global food security. It is often called the Doomsday Vault because it is a last resort repository for humanity's plant diversity. Every seed kept inside represents resilience, adaptation, and hope for future generations. Consuming vegetables today indirectly benefits from these efforts, as the vault ensures that tomorrow's farmers, gardeners, and scientists will still have access to the genetics needed to grow the plants we rely on. Climate change is gradually altering growing zones, forcing vegetables to adapt to new conditions. Regions that were once ideal for certain crops may become too hot, dry, or wet, while previously unsuitable areas may now support vegetable cultivation. Temperature shifts, altered rainfall patterns, and extreme weather events impact germination, growth cycles, pest pressure, and yield. Farmers must adjust planting times, select resilient varieties, and sometimes migrate crops to new regions to maintain production. Vegetables are sensitive to environmental changes, and even small shifts can influence taste, texture, and nutritional content. Understanding these changes helps scientists develop strategies for sustainable agriculture, including breeding drought-tolerant or heat-resistant vegetables. Every vegetable we consume reflects adaptation to environmental conditions, either through traditional breeding or careful cultivation. Climate change reminds us that vegetables are not static. They respond to their surroundings, and humans play a crucial role in guiding growth. Eating vegetables today involves engaging with a system increasingly shaped by both nature and climate pressures, highlighting the interdependence of plants and environment. Controlled environments, such as greenhouses, hydroponic systems, and vertical farms, reduce the need for pesticides while allowing precise vegetable cultivation. By managing temperature, humidity, light, and nutrient supply, these systems create conditions unfavorable for pests and diseases. Without unpredictable outdoor factors like rain, wind, or soil-borne pathogens, plants can grow healthier with fewer chemical interventions. This not only improves the quality and safety of vegetables, but also supports sustainable farming practices and reduces environmental impact. Controlled environments allow year-round production of fresh vegetables, regardless of seasonal limitations, providing consistent supply to markets and consumers. Every vegetable grown in these systems reflects careful planning and protection, relying on human-controlled factors rather than relying solely on chemical pesticides. Eating vegetables from controlled environments means enjoying produce cultivated with minimized chemical input and maximized growth efficiency. These methods demonstrate how technology can support both food safety and environmental health, quietly bridging the gap between agriculture, science, and human consumption while maintaining vegetable quality. Composting is a natural process that returns nutrients to the soil, creating a cycle that supports vegetable growth. When kitchen scraps, plant trimmings, and organic waste are decomposed by bacteria, fungi, and other microorganisms, they transform into rich, dark compost. This compost is full of nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and other minerals essential for plant health. When added to soil, it improves texture, water retention, and fertility, allowing vegetables to grow stronger and more productive. Composting also reduces waste sent to landfills and lowers greenhouse gas emissions, making it environmentally friendly. Every peel, leaf, or leftover vegetable turned into compost contributes to this quiet recycling process, feeding the next generation of plants. Farmers and gardeners rely on compost to maintain soil vitality naturally, avoiding excessive chemical fertilizers. Eating vegetables grown in compost-amended soil means consuming plants that are part of a self-sustaining cycle, where the remnants of one meal help produce the next harvest, quietly linking human activity, nature, and nutrition. Regenerative farming is a method that restores soil health while growing vegetables, focusing on long-term sustainability rather than short-term yields. This approach includes practices like crop rotation, cover cropping, reduced tillage, and adding organic matter, all of which improve soil structure, fertility, and biodiversity. Healthy soil supports stronger, more resilient vegetables and reduces the need for synthetic fertilizers and pesticides. Regenerative farming also captures carbon in the soil, contributing to climate change mitigation while protecting the ecosystem. Farmers observe and work with natural cycles, ensuring that the land can produce nutritious vegetables for generations to come. Every vegetable harvested from regenerative farms reflects a system where plants, soil, and microbes interact harmoniously. Eating these vegetables is not just a nutritional choice. It is participating in a process that rebuilds the earth while providing fresh, flavorful food. The method emphasizes balance, showing that vegetable cultivation can enhance soil, environment, and human health at the same time. Vegetables grow silently, performing complex biological processes that are invisible to the naked eye. Roots absorb water and nutrients, leaves capture sunlight, and cells divide and expand continuously without noise or interruption. Even at night, growth does not fully stop, as internal processes continue to support development. This quiet growth allows vegetables to develop structure, flavor, and nutrition over time. Observing a vegetable may seem uneventful, but inside, countless chemical reactions, energy transfers, and cellular communications occur, enabling the plant to survive, adapt, and thrive. The silence of growth is a reminder that life often progresses subtly, without immediate signs. Every leaf, stalk, or root represents the result of hours, days, and weeks of continuous activity, invisible yet vital. Eating a vegetable is experiencing the culmination of these silent processes, connecting humans to a hidden world of growth, energy conversion, and life that quietly unfolds while we observe or even ignore it. Vegetables convert sunlight into stored energy through photosynthesis, turning light, water, and carbon dioxide into sugars that fuel growth. Chlorophyll in leaves captures sunlight, while internal structures carry out chemical reactions that store energy in stems, roots, and fruits. This energy powers every function of the plant, from cell division to nutrient transport, enabling vegetables to develop flavor, texture, and nutrition. Photosynthesis also produces oxygen, supporting life for humans and animals. The process happens continuously during daylight hours and varies with light intensity, temperature, and water availability. Every vegetable we eat contains the stored energy of sunlight, compressed into edible forms that provide calories, carbohydrates, and essential nutrients. By consuming these plants, humans tap into the solar energy captured and converted by nature, connecting us directly to the sun. Vegetables are therefore not just food, they are living batteries of sunlight, silently collecting and storing energy, transforming it into sustenance for life across the planet. Vegetables require patience to mature, as their growth is a gradual process shaped by time, sunlight, water, and nutrients. From tiny seeds, plants slowly develop roots, stems, leaves, and eventually fruits or edible parts. The pace varies depending on the species, season, and environmental conditions, reminding us that nature cannot be rushed. Gardeners and farmers learn to observe subtle signs, leaf color, stem thickness, or bud formation, that indicate progress toward harvest. Waiting allows vegetables to accumulate nutrients, develop flavor, and reach their full potential. Even a quick-growing leafy green like lettuce still needs weeks to become tender and nutritious, while root vegetables or squash can take months to mature fully. This patience rewards those who cultivate and care for them, offering abundant and flavorful harvests. Eating a vegetable is participating in this slow, deliberate process, experiencing the result of time, care, and natural cycles. Each bite reflects patience, growth, and the quiet persistence of life unfolding steadily and intentionally in the garden. Vegetables are remarkably adaptable to harsh environments, demonstrating resilience in the face of drought, poor soil, extreme temperatures, and pest pressures. Many plants have evolved traits such as deep root systems, waxy leaves, or protective coatings that help conserve water and nutrients, allowing survival where conditions are challenging. Some species thrive in rocky, sandy, or low-fertility soils, while others can withstand heat or cold that would damage less resilient plants. Adaptation is essential for survival, enabling vegetables to colonize diverse climates and geographic regions. Human cultivation has also enhanced these traits through selective breeding, creating varieties that tolerate stress without losing productivity. Eating vegetables that were grown in demanding conditions is a reminder of this natural flexibility and strength. Every tomato, Carrot or kale leaf carries the story of resilience and adaptation, quietly demonstrating how plants survive, adjust, and continue to provide nourishment, even when the environment is less than ideal. Nature equips them with strategies to endure and thrive. Many vegetables can survive partial damage and regrow, showcasing a remarkable ability to recover from stress or injury. When leaves are eaten by insects, stems are broken, or roots are slightly disturbed, plants often redirect energy to repair and continue growing. This regeneration depends on stored nutrients, meristematic tissues, and environmental support like water and sunlight. Leafy greens like lettuce can sprout new leaves after cutting, while root vegetables may produce secondary shoots. This resilience is not just survival, it ensures continued productivity and contributes to long-term food availability. Human cultivation has learned to take advantage of these traits, with practices such as cutting and regrowing certain vegetables multiple times, or trimming to encourage new growth. Eating vegetables that have survived damage is experiencing the plant's ability to heal and adapt, reflecting life's persistence. Each bite reminds us that vegetables are not fragile. They are resilient organisms, quietly repairing themselves, sustaining both their life cycle and our nutrition. Vegetable life cycles mirror seasonal rhythms, aligning growth, flowering, and harvest with changes in light, temperature, and rainfall. Annuals, like lettuce or beans, complete their life cycle within a single season, while biennials and perennials follow multi-year patterns. The timing of germination, leaf development, flowering, and fruiting is regulated by environmental cues, allowing plants to maximize resources and avoid stress. Spring brings rapid growth for cool weather crops, while summer favors heat-tolerant species, and fall signals maturation for storage vegetables like carrots and cabbage. These seasonal rhythms also influence flavor, nutrient content, and texture, as the plant adjusts metabolism in response to light and temperature. Farmers and gardeners plan planting schedules around these natural cycles to optimize yield and quality. Eating vegetables is therefore experiencing the rhythm of the seasons, as each harvest reflects the timing and energy of sunlight, rainfall, and climate. Every bite connects us to the natural cycles that govern growth, reminding us that vegetables live in harmony with the changing world. Vegetables support ecosystems beyond human use, quietly interacting with countless organisms in their environment. Their roots stabilize soil, preventing erosion, while decaying leaves feed insects, fungi, and microbes that enrich the ground. Above ground, stems, leaves, and flowers provide habitats and food for birds, small mammals, and beneficial insects. Even when humans are not cultivating them for consumption, vegetables contribute to biodiversity, helping maintain balanced ecosystems. Pollinators, herbivores, decomposers, and soil organisms all rely on these plants, creating complex networks that sustain life. By planting, protecting, or simply leaving vegetables in their natural environment, humans support the survival of numerous species. Eating vegetables reminds us that these plants exist in a larger web of life, providing nutrition not just for humans but for many creatures. Every carrot, tomato, or leafy green is part of a dynamic ecosystem, quietly participating in cycles of growth, decay, and regeneration, connecting human food systems to the wider natural world in a subtle but profound way. Pollinators rely heavily on vegetable flowers for food and reproduction, making vegetables essential to maintaining healthy ecosystems. Bees, butterflies, and other insects visit flowers to collect nectar and pollen, which they use for energy and to feed their young. In return, pollinators help vegetables reproduce by transferring pollen between flowers, enabling fruit and seed formation. Many vegetables, including tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, and squash, depend on this interaction to produce high yields. Without pollinators, these plants would struggle to reproduce, which would impact both human food supplies and ecological balance. Gardeners often observe bees buzzing around vegetable flowers, a quiet reminder that vegetables are more than just food. They are part of a collaborative system that supports life beyond human consumption. Every flower visited by a pollinator contributes to reproduction, genetic diversity, and long-term survival of the plant species. Eating vegetables connects us to this unseen partnership between plants and pollinators, revealing how nature's intricate systems sustain both ecosystems and human nutrition. Seeds represent future continuity, carrying the genetic instructions for the next generation of vegetables. Within each tiny seed is the potential to grow roots, stems, leaves, and edible parts, ensuring that the plant lineage continues. Seeds can remain dormant for months or years, waiting for ideal conditions of water, light, and temperature before germinating. This dormancy allows plants to survive challenging seasons and regenerate when conditions improve. Farmers, gardeners, and seed savers recognize the importance of seeds for preserving biodiversity, improving crops, and maintaining food security. Each seed contains traits selected over centuries, from flavor and texture to disease resistance and climate adaptability. By planting, protecting, or consuming seeds, humans participate in this cycle of renewal. Every vegetable begins as a seed, connecting past cultivation to future harvests. Eating vegetables is therefore experiencing the culmination of countless seeds that survived, adapted, and grew, quietly linking generations of plants and humans through continuous cycles of life, growth, and nourishment. Every vegetable on your plate is the result of thousands of years of quiet human-plant partnership, a relationship built on observation, cultivation, and care. From the earliest farmers selecting seeds to today's advanced agricultural techniques, humans have shaped the plants we eat, while vegetables have shaped human societies, diets, and cultures. This partnership is reflected in domestication, breeding, and preservation, as each generation learned which plants thrived, which flavors were preferred, and which traits were most useful. Over millennia, humans have guided growth, adapted cultivation to climate, and exchanged varieties across continents, while vegetables quietly responded, evolving to meet human needs. Each bite represents not just nutrition, but the accumulated knowledge, effort, and collaboration between species. From ancient fields to modern gardens, this partnership continues to produce a remarkable diversity of vegetables. Eating a simple carrot, tomato, or leafy green is participating in a story of coexistence, patience, and mutual benefit, connecting us to a deep history of life, culture, and the enduring bond between humans and the plants that sustain us.